Coming up, manufacturing jobs and getting America back to work. Jane Wells is in Sun Valley, California, where the buzz is all about insourcing. And Jane Wells is going to explain that to us. Right, Jane?
That's right. In Sun Valley, without the sun, that's okay. You know, like the ebb and flow of the tide. Jobs going offshore, coming on, back onshore. Up next, find out why some companies say Made in America is making them money. Stay tuned.
I'm taking what they're giving 'cause I'm working for.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics releases its monthly breakdown of state unemployment numbers coming up at 10 a.m., and one state hit hard by joblessness has been California. Our Jane Wells tells us how insourcing is now being used to try and reverse that trend in the Golden State. Jane?
Becky, you know what? Made in America is making a comeback, and this company behind me is one example. Rico International makes reeds for musical instruments and is a division of New York-based D'Addario, the world's largest manufacturer of musical instrument accessories. Over the last 18 months, it's been moving Chinese production back to California and New York, and says it's actually grabbing market share and making more money. Yes, onshoring or reshoring, some call it, after years of offshoring U.S. manufacturing. Why the reversal? Well, wages overseas have gone up, while in the U.S. they've come down. Transportation costs across the ocean have gotten so expensive it looks cheaper to make some things at home. And Made in America cuts down on the risk to potential loss of intellectual property rights or quality problems. So who's changing course? Caterpillar is considering shifting some heavy equipment production from Japan back to a U.S. plant. GE, our parent company, announced it's moving hot water heater production from China to Kentucky. Even companies like Wham-O is bringing back some toy production to the U.S., and Ortho Mattress has completely come back from China. For Rico International's parent company, it comes down to even like the best place to make guitar picks.
Through the lean efforts in New York, they've freed up enough space and enough capacity that they're looking at some new machinery and working on a new process to bring in new employees in New York and manufacture this stuff here in the United States instead of in China. For years, you know, manufacturing in America is dead. You just can't afford to make anything here anymore. And I think people are starting to realize that's not necessarily true. There are ways that you can make it in America and make money at the same time.
Now, a consortium of manufacturing groups are hosting a reshoring fair in Southern California in May. Rico's John Moore says one of the pluses of controlling the entire production process and keeping it close to home is that you can have much leaner inventories. He said since they've started this onshoring initiative at his parent company, they've taken out $1.5 million in inventory. It's much leaner. They now do 87% of their production here. They want to bring that to 100%. But for the reeds they make, the wood is not American grown. It comes from France or Argentina, but guys, they are trying to look for a place in the USA to grow that wood. It's like a weed. It's called Arundinodonax.
A weed? You've been talking 402, 420
like
all day today. Oh, all right. Hey, Jane, you know how I knew?
No.
You know how I knew where you were this morning, Jane?
How?
Twitter. I saw. You've been twittering already, tweeting this morning about where you were, and I've been following.
I said there's no place better than being a parking lot in San Fernando and Sun Valley before dawn. It's just, it doesn't get any better than this.
It doesn't. You get all the good jobs, Jane. Anyway, thank you very much. When we come back, we have the...
Well, we continue CNBC's special day-long coverage on which states are seeing job creation. After years of offshoring to cheaper countries like China, companies from Caterpillar to GE, they're coming back home. CNBC's Jane Wells joins us from Sun Valley, California with more on this. Jane.
Hi, Trish. We just got some information about California's unemployment rate in February remained unchanged at 12.5%. Still much higher than the national average, and the state lost more than 20,000 non-farm payroll jobs in the month, but they got jobs here. In fact, they'd like to increase in California. You know, for years we've been offshoring manufacturing jobs. We became an information economy, a service economy. We didn't make things anymore. Well, Made in America is making a comeback.
The goal is to make everything in the United States.
John Moore runs Rico International, which makes reeds and other musical instrument components. It's a division of the world's largest musical instrument accessory company, D'Addario, which decided 18 months ago to start bringing all production back into the U.S. from China. It's just part of this new wave of onshoring or reshoring jobs. Caterpillar is considering moving some of its heavy equipment manufacturing back into a U.S. plant. Companies from GE to AT&T to HP are also doing or considering it. Even toy companies like Whammo are moving jobs back home. In many cases, the recession has forced these companies to become so efficient it's now not just patriotic, but more affordable to build here.
Because we've made the operations much more efficient now, we can compete economically. The cost is low enough where it doesn't make economic sense to do it in China anymore, and the quality is far superior.
Yeah, that's really one of the big reasons. By keeping it close to home, you can control quality. Also, it cuts down on the risks of potential loss of intellectual property rights, cuts down on transportation costs, and maybe more importantly than anything, Larry, as wages overseas have come up, in many cases, wages here have gone down, especially to make these things. That's a clarinet reed, an alto sax, and a baritone sax.
Jane,
you know.
Jane, how are you on the trombone when you do that, the trombone thing?
Lots of spit going everywhere.
All right, lots of spit. Jane Wells, thank you very much.